constant code resistance. Okay, the constant code resistance, meaning with the letter R. So this is what Ohm's law states. Okay, and then so Ohm's law states that the ratio of voltage to current is a constant, and then we can write Ohm's law, meaning that we are saying that it's a ratio, right? When we divide voltage divided by the current, we are going to get resistance. Okay, meaning resistance equals to voltage divided by the current. Okay, now more mathematically we can say that Ohm's law okay, so Ohm's law, so meaning R equals to voltage over the current. Okay, so this is what Ohm's law states. Okay, meaning resistance equals to the ratio of voltage over the current. Okay, so we must be able to understand the Ohm's law formula, because it's going to be very useful in other chapters, like how we can be able now to use the same formula to calculate the voltage, also calculate the current, calculate also the resistance. Okay, so we must be able to understand the formula. Now when you look at the R, which is just resistance, the units, so the units are the ohms. Okay, the units are the ohms, like this. And then the symbol that we use for the ohms is that, for example, if you have got a number like 3, I can just write more like this one. Okay, so this we can now read it as 3 ohms. Okay, that is 3 ohms. You can have maybe also something like 0.5 ohms. Okay, so make sure we take note of the units of the resistance, which is just the R there. And then I also mentioned that the units for current, which is I, equals to the amps. Okay, or the amperes. The amps, these are the units, amperes, which we normally use the symbol, I mean the letter, like for example, you can have 10 amps, meaning just use letter A to stand for amps. Okay, or amperes. Okay, and then the voltage, it is just the volts, or the volt, just the volt. Okay, so just the volt, and then the symbol is just the V. Okay, so meaning you can have for example, maybe 20 volts, 20 V, meaning the voltage is 20. Okay, can you see what I'm writing there?
Yes.
Okay, So after now we know the symbols, the units for the resistance, the current, the voltage. Then now we can move on to say now that yeah, okay. So after we know that, then for example, I'll give an example. Let's say we can have something like this. Okay. So looking at this question, which is saying calculate the current that flows through a wire that has a resistance of 0.2 ohms and carries a voltage of 10 volts, a 10 volt power supply. Okay, so from this one we have to make sure that we collect the information that we have been given in the question, and then the resistance which we have as just R equals to 0.2 that we have been given ohms, and then we also have the voltage. So we have the voltage equals to 10 volts, and then the current which we don't know, and presented by letter I, capital I, equals to the question mark. Okay, so since we don't know the current, so we can put a question mark there, and then now we can say ndiko busy pa computer. Okay, just a minute. Issue. Danda tubura nipare wondesa mshapa computer pa mlenta distance. Fisa fimbi. Okay, sorry for that. Let's continue. Okay, so we have the resistance, which is R at 0.2 ohms, the voltage 10 volts, and then the current is in the question mark. So now for us to find this, we can now apply the Ohm's law, which is R equals to V over I. Okay. Now when you look at the question, is that we are looking for I. We are looking for I, meaning which has a question mark. mean I as a question mark. Okay, so I as a question mark. So what we need first of all is to make I the subject of the formula. Then by doing some using some mathematical method, so meaning that we are going to say R equals to V over I. We make I the subject, then we can just say over 1, and then we cross multiply. Then this is going to be 1 times V, meaning V times 1 equals to I. Okay, I times R, and then V times 1, this will just give us V equals to I R. Okay, and then now I'm looking for I, then I'm going to divide both sides by R, so that I remain with just the I. So I'll cancel this one, I'll cancel this one. So meaning I is going to be V over R. Okay. So then now we can say I equals to our V has been given as 10 volts over 0.2. Okay, so I going to be, then we use the calculator now. Okay, so 10 divided by 0.2, this is going to be 50. It's going to be 50 amps. So you just use capital A, then this is our answer, 50 amps. Okay, so this is our current. Okay, and this is how you can be able to use the formula, or rather the Ohm's law concept. Okay, so now from there we move on to the concept of